Opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or messages posted in chat are strictly their own personal views and do not reflect the views of Bolin Services, Inc., a 501c3 nonprofit organization, nor does it reflect the views of the sponsors of this program. Political commentary, if any, are strictly personal opinions and should not be construed as endorsements of or opposition to any political party, candidate, or voter initiative by Bolin Services, Inc. This audio-visual presentation is copyrighted by Kenneth W. Bolin. No rebroadcast, retransmission, simulcast, or other distribution of this video or the audio associated with it is permitted without the express written permission of Kenneth W. Bolin. All original content on this presentation is owned in full and solely by Kenneth W. Bolin.
Warning, the following podcast has extremely high levels of Kenny Bolin. Studies have shown that excessive exposure to Kenny Bolin may have damaging effects to your physical and mental well-being. Viewer discretion is advised. No, seriously, we mean it. There will be naughty words, lots of them, probably. Now you've been warned. This warning sponsored by the Story Time with Dutch Mantel.
Sponsored by the Story Time with Dutch Mantel, read to you by the amazing voice of John Cena Sr., and then that other voice that nearly put all of y'all to sleep was by the currently absent co-host of this show, Bob Hazelwood, who right now is nowhere to be seen, running late, 2 minutes late. We have a big-time guest tonight. Our co-host isn't here to help do the introduction, so I think that's going to fall in my lap. So we're going to get that handled here in a minute. I've got my other co-host who is on time tonight, who will be joining me, the Cold Train from Arizona. We're going to have him in here in a little bit. So being as we don't have, because Bob really likes to do these introductions, but apparently he's busy, couldn't be bothered to participate in the show on time tonight like everyone else. Me and Ron Waterman have been backstage since 7:30 p.m. Okay, maybe not exactly that long, but we did show up on time. So, being as I've already mentioned his name, let's go ahead and get this out. This man, oh, wait a minute. I might have some help with this introduction. Pop on in here, because you're pretty good at these introductions. Would you like to do the introduction tonight? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Which one of us were you talking to there? There's many.
well, see, the rest of us have been here for a while.
Well, I was having problems getting the headphones to work, and I wanted to hear our guest. I thought it would be very important to actually hear what our guest had to say. So,
well,
we're working on that.
Yeah, we try to do that over here sometimes. So, if you have an introduction prepared for our guest tonight, let's go ahead and do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest is an author. He is an actor. He is a motivational speaker. He is a well-known MMA fighter, spent some time with the WWE, and, of course, first came across Kenny Bolin in OVW.
Yeah, he did.
He did. And he's worse for the wear because of that. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, Mr. H2O, Ron Waterman.
All right.
That was very politely how you said he came across me. He came across me, all right. That's what he did. We're going to talk about that
story a little bit later. Yeah.
Talk about that a little later in the show. Now, do we have? I think we got someone else that wants to join us tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by the man that, well, let's just say Becky Adcock has been waiting for this all day long.
Probably so.
Welcome, Jason Coltrane, the Train himself.
How's it going?
The love of Becky Adcock's life. Becky Adcock, Ron, in case you're wondering, she is a big fan of this show. And she goes back to the early days of the Louisville Gardens, going back to like 1974, 1975. Wow. And all the wrestlers loved her to death. There was only one problem. The part that wasn't the problem is she was the equivalent of Farrah Fawcett Major. She was just this beautiful girl with this beautiful hair, and everybody loved her. All the fans loved her. All the wrestlers loved her, especially 2 or 3 in particular. But the problem was is when they loved her, they thought she was 17 or 18 years old. Problem was, she was 14, maybe 15 years
Ooh.
old, and looked like Farrah Fawcett Majors. And so Becky and I have been friends. When I was 17, I dated her 16-year-old friend named Lisa Mudd. And Becky and I have been friends one way or the other, probably since 1974. And she comes into the show from time, and she has fallen in love with the coal train. So be careful, Ron. She apparently has a fascination about people that don't have the locks that me and Bob Hazelwood have. So you may be in trouble. You might have to do some of that motivational speaking tonight to tone her down a little bit. Here's something I want to address real quick. And as much fundraising as we've done for the Philippines over the last 14 years, I didn't even think about this being an issue. Ron, you've probably traveled all over the world. I know that you fought a lot of fights in Japan. Did you ever fight in the Philippines?
I never did fight in the Philippines.
I'm almost shocked. I could see you fighting in Manila for some reason. I could just see that happening. But that was Ali Frazier, ladies and gentlemen. But here's the thing that's come up over there, and I didn't even know this to be a thing, but I want to address it tonight. We're also doing a big show next week. We're going to have John Cena Sr., Anthony Scaramucci, possibly Mark Cuban dropping by to celebrate the 25 year of John Cena Sr. And for our heavy hitters out there who can make serious donations tonight, we've already had a challenge from Arby's. I'm going to reveal that in a little bit. Eunice brought up to me that the schools are hotter than hell over there year round. And this is one of the worst times of year. And it's rainy season over there, and it's still miserably hot. And so she says, and a lot of the kids over there call me daddy. I've been helping these kids for 14 years. Fortunately, not one of them calls me grandpa. But she brought up to me today, she says, Daddy, she phrased it, Daddy, we don't have one fan in my school. So I thought she meant there's not one fan of my show in her school, being arrogant. Being arrogant. And no, it wasn't about me. She says, we don't have a fan in our school, and it's miserably hot. And I said, you know what? We got some good things happening. We got good sponsors that are stepping up. Jimmy John's. Let me shout out the sponsors real quick. We have Jimmy John's, Blaze Pizza, Arby's, Five Guys, Carrabba's, and a couple more about to come aboard here in the very near future that I've been alerted to today. But we'll reveal those once the ink has officially dried. Ruby May in here. But a lot of these schools, Ron, do not have fans over there. And fans are more expensive in the Philippines than they are here. I just bought one today for my bedroom because mine conked out. I can't sleep without a fan. I know there's a lot of people like that. It's $20. To get a good fan over there is $40, $50, $60. To get a good running fan. I mean, I don't know why. It's a lot of things over there are dramatically cheaper. So I think we need to do something to where we get our heavy hitters that got a few extra bucks, our sponsors, maybe the Scaramucci's and Mark Cubans and those of that ilk, to raise some money to put some two big fans in the classrooms of these schools, of the at least the ones that watch our show. We can't help everybody, but we can help the ones that we've been helping for the last 10 to 15 years. And I never even thought about that, but to be in school, and their school days are long, Ron. They show up for school at 6, 7 in the morning. They don't get home till 6 or 7 at night. And then, and she was telling me, a lot of them are forced to wear these uniforms, and it's miserably hot, and they got to dress up in these uniforms with ties. But she says now the school is backing down. She says, Daddy, can you help us get white T-shirts? I said, why? Well, they're going to let us wear T-shirts and shorts to school. Well, they should have done that 15 years ago. is forcing these kids in these hot ass schools to wear these miserable, pardon my language. I don't normally talk like that on here. Yeah, dude. You saw the one. And so that's something I want to address. Eunice just brought that up to me just before the show. I told her, please bring it up. And if our sponsors and our celebrities and people that watch our show hear this, whether they can do anything about it or not, maybe they know someone who can. That can make a difference for some of these schools. I don't think putting 2 big fans in a school. I mean, we obviously can't air condition them. We can't afford that. But if we could put some fans in some of these schools over there, Jambi's watching the show. These are our Filipino. Most of these people you see on Facebook, that's our Filipino fans that watch the show that we raise money for to help. Angeline, I'll just watch for a while, Dad, because I have an exam. Some of these kids are in school waiting to do She's like 15, 16 years old, but she speaks the best English of her family. Cheska is currently in college right now. We've been helping her get through college. A lot cheaper over there than it is here. Ruby May, she's about to turn 16 on November the 29th, same day as Eunice's birthday, November 29th. And we got another friend over there named Chenny, November 29th. Ron, do you know why that birthday's famous?
Why is that?
That is the same birthday as Dutch Mantel, Jerry the King Lawler, and JBL. And we have 3 of our Filipino fans here that have that. So pardon me for going off on a rant. I knew I was going to, because I wanted to bring some awareness that these kids are miserable. And if we can get them some T-shirts to make them more comfortable in class, and a couple of fans, 1 in each corner, to at least get a little air circulate. It's still going to be hot, but at least they'll have a breeze on them. So
they have those portable
there's my rant on that.
coolers there.
Excuse me?
Those portable swamp coolers, do they have any of those?
I don't think they have those either. And a lot of the kids have written me and asking me to buy them these 400 peso, like $8, little personal fans.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why. Well, that's why they don't have any fans in the school. And they use these little personal fans just to have some breeze on them. But those batteries run out. They almost have to have 2 or 3 of them to get through the day, and then go home, charge them again if you're not in a blackout. So. But that's what this show's about, Ron, is raising money. I mean, that's why I've been doing these shows for so long, is raising money to help people that are less fortunate than us. And that's the purpose of the show. And that's one reason I was so thrilled to have you on tonight, because I know you're a good man. Tired of all the bad talk about you, but if I'd shut up, a lot of that bad talk would go away. And so, Bob, I'm going to let you lead off with the first question tonight, and then we'll have the Coal Train. And I'll shut up so he can actually be heard. 20 minutes into the show, I'll shut up so he can actually be heard now.
Kenny's going to spend 10 minutes telling us how he's going to shut up.
Exactly.
Oh, that's okay. All right. So, hey, Ron, actually, you and I apparently are former neighbors. You were you're there in Greeley, Colorado. I was in Loveland in the 1980s.
Well, now we know why he moved away.
Exactly. And so, and I guess now you're living in Berthoud, which is about 5 miles south of where I lived in Loveland, right there on 402 and 287 off of Derby Hill.
Wow.
So they were
very close. Yep.
How weird is that, right?
Man, well, I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool.
Something I learned today. So, Ron, I guess the first thing I wanted to ask, I was looking at your website, trying to learn a little bit more about you. And I saw your book there. And I wanted to kind of just jump into that right away, because I know that's an important part of your life.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to ask you about your spiritual life and how, did you have like a come to Jesus moment, or was it a more gradual spiritual growth, or how did that happen for you?
Bob, I grew up in the church till I was about 12 years old, and then my parents divorced, and didn't step into the church again till I was 32 years old. And
wow.
Yeah.
20-year absence. Okay.
Yep, stepped away, and was living for all the wrong reasons and wanted that fame and that fortune. And in my book, I said I was living for the 3 G's: gold, glory, and girls. And you think when you find those things, you achieve all that success, which, I had chapters of my life where I was able to do all those things. And you think that's where you're going to find your happiness. And it just never happened for me. And I realized at 32, my father was begging me to go back to church with him. And I never had time to do that on Sundays. I didn't want to take 2 hours out of my busy schedule to attend church service. So.
I've been there. Ball games were on.
That's right. Finally went back one Sunday, and the Lord spoke to my heart, and I knew it was time to quit running from God and to accept Him into my life. And I've never looked back since that day. So that was actually just months before I was invited back into my first UFC competition. So had my first UFC competition, and that just exploded and took off with that. And I actually became a minister right after I got out of the WWE. One of Kenny's good friends, Rico Constantino, advised me to contact this group called the Power Team back in the day, who he traveled with, and they switched over to Team Impact. So when I left WWE, I contacted those guys, and they flew me out to Dallas and interviewed me, and I was on the road with them the next week, and I've still traveling with him to this day.
Now I'm starting to think you're stalking Bob because Bob lives in Dallas now. So
Yeah.
what's your beef with Bob? Are you trying to get Bob on the power team?
That would be a mistake. The powerless
two of us.
team. Yeah.
That'd be two of us.
So you showed your book. That the book's available on Amazon, I assume, or
Yeah,
someone
you can
wanted to
also
get
go
an
to my
autographed
website.
copy. Yeah, I was gonna let you plug your website and plug the book there. So
Gotcha.
this Tapping Out to Jesus is the name of the book.
Yeah, tapped out by Jesus from the cage.
Tapped
to the
Out by
cross.
Jesus. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question. You had a 20-year absence, and I used to be forced to go to church as a kid, and that's had a lot to do with why I faded out of it. I love sports with a passion: baseball, basketball, football, and there just wasn't enough time in the day to do all those things. And I just really was not that religious of a guy anyway. But where I do respect you so much, and did you know Paul Bearer very well? Percy Pringle?
I never did.
William Moody? You
No,
never got to meet him?
I did.
Oh my God. You talk about a man that you would have gotten along with. Like I said, I'm not a religious guy myself, but I respect those that practice what they preach. If you live in it, I got all the respect in the world for that. And if you're doing what the Bible says and all that, and you're living it, and you're not judging people by their skin color or their sexual preferences and stuff like that, I got all the respect in the world for you. Percy Pringle was that guy. Paul Bearer, William Moody, whatever people knew him as. And I remember, and me and my son, neither one were all that religious, even though my son was raised Catholic. We're driving down the road, and my son's just bawling, and I'm crying because Paul had passed away that day. And Paul and I had become dear friends, even though religiously we did not line up any at all, but we just became such good friends and respected each other so much. And Cornette would get mad that Paul would call me and not call Jimmy. What do you mean he called you? I said, yeah, he called me. How long did y'all talk? About an hour. Well, he never calls me. But we just got along so good. So my son's crying, and he says, Dad, I hope he's right. I said, right about what? About God and Jesus and heaven. I said, yeah. And he said, man, if anybody deserves all that, it's Paul. Paul lived that life. And I remember Paul's feelings being hurt one night because he was going to come up and meet my son, but he never came up. And I thought I had not met Paul before. It was one of the nights the Undertaker came up from underneath the ring in Louisville, and he didn't come up. And I thought Paul was just being a dick, just didn't want to come up and meet my son. I'm backstage with Cornette or whatever. And so I met Paul the next time, and he's just so friendly. I said, well, Paul, I said, I tried to meet you last time I was here. I said, and you didn't come up. Well, that's not like me. I would know if I'd have known, I'd have come up. They never told me. And he was so apologetic that he thought he hurt my feelings. He didn't come up to meet us, but just the sweetest man. Just the sweetest man, and lived it, man. And I know that about you. I know you live it, and I know a few of you like that, and I know a few that are not. So I'm not quite as complimentary to people. And here I don't really have a religious bone in my body. My whole life has been help people that are less fortunate than you. You know, there are times, Ron, that I'll have the crappiest day in the world. It's just horrible. My son will want to take me out somewhere, just get me out of the house. Oh my God, Dad, what a horrible day. And then we're heading to wherever we're going. We're going to a restaurant or something. And he says, Dad, you seem to be all right now. Why are you all right? I said, well, when I come home tonight, I'm going to have electricity. I don't have to sleep on a dirt floor. I got a nice bed. My refrigerator's full of food. The bills are paid. Everything's all right. None of those people I help have that. I said, Chris, you can give these Filipinos my worst day I've ever had in my life. It would be their best times 10. I got nothing to bitch about. And that's, you know, not to be a religion. And Anthony Scaramucci, who's very, very Catholic. Jason Sanderson, who is a pastor up in the Northeast, runs a lot of wrestling shows. They keep trying to tell me, I don't know what it is, but I don't think I can call you an atheist or agnostic. And even Anthony called me at my home. He says, man, something brought us together. And he said, I think we're going to, and Anthony and I have been good friends for quite some time now. But so I think you can do all those things, not necessarily being religious, just loving your fellow man. And I keep hearing that thing, God created all of us equal. Well, God, where did some of us seem to have forgot that, Ron? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. And with me, Kenny, it's not about being religious. It's about relationship, and it's about my relationship with Christ. And I tell people all the time, if I only had 80 years to live on this earth, it'd be a sad existence for me just to know that that's all I'm here on this earth for. But to
Yeah.
know that Christ has offered us salvation, and I can live. After I pass here, I'm going to somewhere much greater than the earth that we're living on today, and that's eternity in heaven with Christ. So that's what I look forward to. I mean, this is just a temporary home for me, so I'm going to live as well as I can.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, just like I said about Paul Bear, I hope you're right for you. I really do, because I truly think you deserve that.
Well, thanks.
Regardless of what you did to me years ago, we're going to get into that later. Now, what year you said it was right after you left WWE? What was it? Basically, your father that got you back into the church?
Yeah, it was. He was definitely the reason that I went back to church. And then when Christ got a hold of my heart, then I've been going ever since. I was just finished this year. I was a full-time pastor, a youth pastor at a church here in Berthoud. So that was a great experience for me. And I've been an evangelist now for 25 years, traveled all around the world and into lots of third world countries where they don't have heat or air conditioning in their schools. And, our kids don't know how good they have it
you're right. It ain't only the Philippines. There's lots of those third world countries that are dealing with the same thing.
We've got it pretty good here in the States. That's for sure.
Even when we're all complaining and we think it's just absolutely miserable here, you're exactly right. We got it pretty good compared to a lot of others. There's no doubt about that.
Terrible.
Coltrane, I've been rude to you. I haven't let you get your question in yet. Go right ahead.
Actually, I'll switch my question up. So you said that Christ got a hold of your heart when you went to church that time. Do you remember what the message was that turned you around, or do you remember that sermon?
I couldn't tell you now. I mean, that was 25 years ago what that exact word was, but it was one of those where I was sure that my dad had spoke to the pastor before I showed up that day and told him all the things that I needed to hear, because man, I felt like he was just speaking right to me, and I was sitting in this big, huge church.
You were definitely hearing it, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. And man, I just felt like God was talking right to me that day, and I knew that I needed to respond, and I did. I raised my hand for salvation, walked forward, and accept Christ as my Savior, and life's never been the same.
That's good. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. That it was just like somebody was speaking right to them.
Yeah.
The next question I have is that when you left the WWE, where did you go immediately from WWE? Was that because you were talking about going to Japan, doing a lot of fighting over there? And what led you into that? What got you into the MMA world?
I was a college wrestler, Kenny. So wrestled in at UNC and pretty
North Carolina?
No, actually, University of Northern Colorado. So
Division
II school then.
Carolina appreciates the plug. Bob going North Carolina. Yeah. Come on, Northern Colorado.
But I was a pretty successful college wrestler, and that was about the time that all these wrestlers were just dominating the UFC. Mark Coleman and a lot of guys like that were just controlling it. So my wrestling team, I was a high school teacher right when I got out of school, college. Yeah. High school art teacher, if you can believe that or not.
Oh, wow.
But I was a wrestling coach and a football coach, and my wrestling team challenged me to enter this local competition in Denver called the Boss Rutan Invitational. And so I took them up on it and trained for a few months and went down. I had 3 fights in one night, finished each one of the fights in under 30 seconds. And the matchmaker from UFC was actually the one that was officiating these matches. His name was John Peretti, and he saw the fights and invited me right to the next UFC, and things just took off from there. I won my first UFC match in 25 seconds and got put into the first UFC video game. And that's actually that trip when I was flying out to California to be put in that video game was actually where I sat next to a guy on the plane that said, "Man, have you ever thought about professional wrestling?" And I was like, I've thought about it.
Who was that man that asked you, or do you recall?
His name was Jeff Buller, and he was actually one of the he worked for WWE a couple months later after that. And he was friends with Shane McMahon, and he set up an appointment. And the next week, I'm flying out to Stamford, Connecticut, sitting in the office with Jim Ross. And
oh my Lord!
they offered me a 4-year developmental contract right there on the spot. So
yeah.
The
developmental contract was a big deal back then. That was when you were either being sent to us, to Memphis, or Cincinnati, and fortunately we got you.
Yeah, that was that pretty famous class out there of OVW wrestlers.
Oh my God, what a class, right?
And Orton and Lesnar and
Shelton Benjamin,
on and on.
Rico, of course.
Yep.
Now, were you and Rico as close when you were here? Because you were here at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Were you always close here? Because Rico has always been fairly religious, as best as I can remember.
Yep.
But yet we were friends anyway.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I reached out to Rico, because of his faith, and I knew that he had some experience with the power team, and that was something. Yeah, very curious.
And they're the ones that tear the phone books and all that stuff, right?
Break metal bats over their legs and put metal bars in their teeth and blow up hot water bottles, and just to get people's attention. And then you get to share the gospel. And
I'm sure Bob and Coltrane both remember that oftentimes I come on here and I brag about my high school wrestling career from 1976 through 1976 through 1979. I was on the Oldham County High School wrestling team. Our school was.
I thought you said it was 76 to 84.
Well, I was a 5-year senior, so I was supposed to graduate in 79, but they kept flunking me, so I would stay. They kept flunking me, so I would stay on the wrestling team and the kickball team to keep winning championships. That's what happened. So
that's what they said to make you feel smart.
Introducing at a 5-year senior. So, yeah, coming out with a cane. And but no, I always brag that I went 212-0. Nobody ever beat me. And then when I got into pro, I had no desire to be, through being friends with Jerry the King Lawler, I had no desire to be Jerry the King Lawler, the wrestler. I wanted to be the managerial version, because Jerry was showing no signs of retiring anytime soon. And I didn't like the travel schedule. I didn't like all the bumps they had to take. I didn't like all the bleeding they had to do. And I've always considered myself a good talker, probably since I was about 14 or 15, because of Jerry Lawler. He gave me confidence I should have never had. I was very poor, very white, lived in very poor areas my entire life, and should have had no confidence whatsoever. But because of him and developing an ability to speak, I tried to talk smarter than I actually was, tried to act like I had more money than I actually had, tried to act like I lived a better lifestyle than I actually had, and created this image that most of the school kids did not know. They did not know I was just poor and whatever other descriptions you want to go with it. So I used to brag about my 212-0 record at Oldham County High. I can assure you, fans, that you're going to hear it here now. There's never a day on this planet Earth that I could have beat Ron Waterman. So just so you all know. What's that?
212 regular. That's pretty impressive.
Well, it was over 4. Well, they're trying to bury me and say it was 9 years. It was only 4. and the reason it was so many matches is because I became the high school version of Jerry Lawler. I was Kenny the King Rison. That was my name at that time. And I would challenge people anywhere, anytime, any size. And if there was a wrestling mat down in the gym, I would challenge them to a match. And sometimes they would challenge me thinking they could beat me. And one time I weighed like 175. I took on a guy that weighed like 250, and I beat him rather quickly. So then I had a lot of confidence then. Like, it don't even matter how big you are, I can beat you. So, but no, I was never in this man's class. I was never considered to go to the Olympics or to go to the power team. I was not in that league. I was fortunately in Oldham County with a bunch of scrawny white people. So it all worked out.
Some good stuff.
Exactly. What was your last MMA fight?
My last MMA fight was actually in 2012.
Okay. That was the year I left Ohio Valley, September 2012.
Down in Texas.
There he is, Bob, stalking you again.
Yeah, well.
Do you remember?
He beat me in a submission. It was really over really fast.
30 seconds.
No, he walked in the ring and he walked into the arena and I tapped out like the second.
Well, it took him 30 seconds. It took him 30. It took him 30 seconds to clean up the mess that Bob had left in the ring.
Exactly.
To get down to his knees and lay down.
Do you remember who it was and what the outcome was?
Yeah, when I finished WWE, I went back to mixed martial arts. I did a short stint with New Japan Wrestling over in Japan, but then I started back in the fighting circuit. So the Pride Fighting Championships was a big deal back then. So they were, I had fought over in Japan for many years against Pro Cop and Kevin Randleman, some pretty big hitters, and came back to the United States and was the first WEC World Cage Fighting Championship. I was the first super heavyweight champion.
And what did you weigh as a super heavyweight?
About 285.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you didn't weigh that much here at OVW, did you?
Heavyweight go to 265?
Yeah, I got to 295 actually when I was at OVW.
Did you really?
Brock and I were about the same weight.
Okay. I didn't even know Brock was that close to 300 at that time because you guys were just so lean looking. It was a very deceptive 300. When I started at OVW in 96, I was 277 and eventually made it to 589. I was trying to be a super heavyweight. Yeah. Yeah. The wrong.
Two of you, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And, so
Terminator just split into two.
but no, I never realized. I would have guessed you more just from looking at you. I would have guessed you more at 250 or 260. I never dreamed you were sneaking around the 300
time in my
mark.
life that I actually could just work out and train all day long and eat good.
Yeah.
For a living,
Yeah.
so getting paid to do it. So it was.
And
nice.
now, was the developmental contract back then? Because some guys came in at 500 a week, others came in at 750. And if you remember, Randy Orton was quoted, "I don't even like wrestling. I'm here for the 750." That's all he cared. Now Randy has wrestled more matches on Monday Night Raw than anybody.
That's right.
And he's not making 750 a week anymore. John Cena. When John Cena got called up, he told me, he says, "Kenny, anytime y'all need me, let me know. I'll be back." And I said, "Well, I don't think WWE's really going to let you do that."
Yeah, right.
And I said, "You're in the big time now, and we're not going to be seeing much of you." "Oh no, Kenny, I'm here anytime you need me. If y'all need me on TV night, we don't do anything on Wednesdays. You just let me know, man. I love wrestling. I'm here." And I don't think we could get John Cena to look at the window at us these days for a healthy fee. But John's father is just a marvelous guy. He's
dad, for God's sake.
John Cena Sr. is going to be on the show with us next Thursday, along with Anthony Scaramucci. The reason for that is we have a story about the only reason that I even know Anthony Scaramucci is because of John Cena. And I didn't know it until in a roundabout way, but we'll tell that story next week. And so what motivated you to write your book? Because I wrote one. Mine is nothing like yours. Mine's called "I Probably Screwed You Too: The Mostly True Stories of Kenny Starmaker Bolin." That's two different books.
Before I get into my book, Kenny, I've got a funny story about Cena. You know, Brock and I, when we came in on developmental contracts, we were both, probably the really high developmental contracts. We were getting paid pretty well. And after we'd been traveling doing
that's right, because Brock wasn't on the same deal as everyone else.
Right.
And I didn't know really anything about yours, but yeah, Brock wasn't on no 750 a week.
Oh yeah. His and mine were both pretty lucrative.
Nor the Big Show or Mark Henry, obviously, but they had already been up.
Right, exactly.
They were sent back down to the minors, so to say.
So anyway, we're traveling around. We were on the road doing a local show somewhere, and we were driving to set up the ring. And John Cena rode with me in the car that day, and we just got to talking about his salary, and I was just shocked that he was hardly making anything at that time.
Yes.
Developmental contract. So I'm like, dude, you are so talented. I've got to do something about this. So I call up the office, and I had a pretty good relationship with one of the ladies up in the office, and I said, "Man, you got to give this guy a raise." So they ended up bumping his salary up, his developmental contract up.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. And I'm like,
damn.
Looking back,
who did you know in the office that had the stroke to get that done for you?
Nicole Durazio. She was one of the HR.
I remember her name. Not that I ever dealt with her, but I do recall her
nice
name.
Lady, but I had a pretty good relationship with her, and I said,
"Damn." So Cena owes you is what you're telling me.
Right.
No, I remember Randy. I'm here for the $750 a week. If he never made a dime more, he didn't care. Cena, I think he was making $750 a week when he got called up to WWE, and he acted like that was more than enough. You know, but when Cena got here, if you remember, he was a star of a television show. Do you remember the name of the show that Cena was a star of?
I don't remember.
It was called Manhunt. It was on the CW network. And Cena was the only one that was believable on this reality show. And so I had seen it before he got here, and I'm going, damn, he's good. I don't know why they're putting him, because I never understood why they put him with me. He did not need anybody to do his verbal skills for him.
Yeah, that guy.
But we had such good banter together, it worked out, especially with me, him, and Rico. It just all worked. Even though I told Jimmy, I don't know why you're putting him with me. He doesn't need me to do his talking for him. He's got that covered. And so now does Cena know that you made the call to get him a bump in pay?
Yeah, I made it right in front of him.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
I don't know if I might call back the favor now.
There you go.
Well, speaking of books, and I want you to hold yours up again here. This one I wrote 10 years ago. There we go. Mine was written 10 years ago in July, and this is the 10-year anniversary of I Probably Screwed You Too, the mostly true story. So in other words, we admit we lie in here, of Kenny Starmaker Bolin. And then there's Ron's. An entirely different,
entirely true story.
An entirely different direction of how to write a book. And then next week we got Anthony Scaramucci on, and for those, and we're really looking for donations tonight. And this is the problem. This is no offense to you, Ron. This is the problem we run into. Anytime we get big celebrities on the show, they get enthralled with watching the show, and they don't donate.
Everybody's mouth just hanging open.
So far, we don't have any donations as of yet. So show Mr. Waterman some respect. Let's raise some money for the cause. Let's help some of these Filipinos get fans in their classrooms. We need electric bills paid for a few of them. We need rice for a few of them. I'm behind on reading all my messages. We're hoping Anthony Scaramucci, who makes a couple of bucks, by the way, the CEO of Skybridge, worked for Donald Trump. He was the communications director. Who's got a weather warning? Run for your lives. Run for your life. We might be
there's an Amber Alert out from
I'll tell you what will be great is if Coltrane gets sucked out of his house while we're doing the show. That would be great television there.
Yes.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, no, Ron, you have a movie coming out soon?
Wait a minute.
No. I've done a few small films, but and a couple of commercials.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's why I muted you. Don't unmute yourself until it stays quiet. All right.
It was two different phones.
two alerts to get the hell out of the house.
There you go.
Yeah, it's hot boob season, so there's one on its way.
We don't have a drop of rain in sight for the next 12 days. Just a screenshot of our weather forecast. Normally, it's just so miserably hot around here. We got 70s across the board starting in a couple of days. In August and September in Louisville, Ron, you were here for a while. That is unheard of in August in Louisville, Kentucky, St. Louis, Nashville, Indiana. We don't get weather like that, but it's coming now, and we're going to take it. A little relief on the electric bills. A lot of the Filipinos are chiming in that are watching the show that are needing help. They're the reason that we help. We don't officially have any donations on the board yet, but here's what we do have. Arby's, it was a big sponsor on my show. I guess I need to take her name down so we can see their logo. Arby's has been a big sponsor on the show now for quite some time. And Arby's contacted me before the show and said, we want to do something special for tonight's show. They're big Ron Waterman fans. 3 or 4 of the executives over there were excited to see you on the show tonight. Jimmy John's had some people that were excited. As a matter of fact, Jimmy John's was going to try to send me some shirts to wear here tonight on the show that promote the Louisville Cardinals and Jimmy John's. I said, yeah, if you get it to me, I'll wear it. Well, it didn't make it in time, so we're going to have to wear those on the Scaramucci show. But Arby's has issued a challenge to all of our sponsors and any of our other heavy hitters watching the show tonight to help raise some money to help these kids in need. Arby's has said if we can raise $200 on the show tonight before we sign off, and we normally have a rule that if we don't make $60 inside of 30 minutes, because $60 at least feeds a family of 4 for 30 days with rice, eggs, and various soups and things they need. We're passing that rule tonight because I want to have Ron on as long as I can keep him, as long as he'll talk to me. But if we can raise $200 in the room tonight, Arby's is going to match that $200. And I did have one of the fans wrote me and he says, I can't do 200, but I can get you a chunk in the right direction. He says, so let's hold off on mine. Let's see how the room is doing on donations. And he said, let's get that 200. And he had me issue a challenge to Jimmy John's and Blaze Pizza. Not so much Carrabba's, because they only have one restaurant in the area, and Five Guys, we only deal with the one over in southern Indiana. But he did issue a challenge to Jimmy John's and Blaze to match the Arby's $200 pledge for a donation for tonight's show. We were hoping to have a goal of maybe even $1,000 tonight, if enough of the heavy hitters pitched in and if the sponsors are able to pledge those $200 donations. But Arby's said regardless, if we raise $200 in the room tonight, they will match that regardless what any of the other sponsors do. So we're going to make some money tonight. We're just trying to figure out how much. So, all right. And the viewership is picking up. A lot of times the word gets out a little bit late. I don't know why, but and sometimes it depends on what we're going against on television too. Is there anything big on TV tonight?
What is today? Thursday? Not that I
maybe the College World Series or something. I don't know.
There's just baseball and
there's preseason NFL. Preseason NFL football.
Tonight.
Well, John Paul won't be watching if there's I think I saw a Jets game on NFL Network that came on at 7, but that might
tomorrow.
This is Thursday, right?
Giants and the Patriots right now are playing tonight.
Oh, actually, Pittsburgh and Carolina's playing.
Yeah, that's the one I saw on NFL Network. And, and we have a lot of sports fans, NFL fans, various things. So I try not to go head-to-head with any. It's preseason. I haven't even watched the Dolphin preseason game yet. There's not a bigger Dolphin fan on the planet. You're a big Dolphin fan.
Huge.
And who do you like in the NFL, Ron?
I'm a Bronco fan.
Well, I guess you would be. Now, Bob is not a Bronco fan. Bob is a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
And they're aren't you guys about to get a Netflix special?
There is one out right now on how Jerry Jones is an idiot. I mean, I haven't watched the entire thing, but
I haven't seen it, but I am going to check it out.
I'm pretty sure that's the theme of it, that Jerry Jones.
Hulu or what? What's that?
No, it's Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Okay. I got that.
Yeah. Now, did you hear the jab that Troy Aikman took at the Cowboys the other day?
No.
They were interviewing Troy Aikman, and they were showing some film of him as a quarterback with the Cowboys. And he says, yes, folks, we used to win Super Bowls. Wow. The way to get him, Troy. And Troy's securing his little Fox job.
Well, I mean,
it's been like 2
Troy's at
Troy's at
ESPN now.
ESPN, my bad.
Doing Monday Night Football. But, it's been 1990.
Man, that don't even seem possible.
2 generations. Yeah.
There's like an entire generation of Cowboys fans that have never seen an NFC championship game.
Well, it's like the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, the Cincinnati Reds dominated. Cincinnati Reds dominated baseball from probably 69 through world championships in the 60s,
78,
and 79, and then 1990 we won the World Series, and we haven't even sniffed the World Series since then. And we are in the playoff hunt right now. We're 1 game back of the Mets for the last wild card position. The Mets are playing about as bad a baseball as you can play. Are you a baseball fan?
Not so much.
Yeah,
Rockies aren't a hard team to stand behind.
It's hard to get on that wagon, isn't it?
It's hard to jump
unless you like watching 586-foot home runs that would have went 420 in any other ballpark.
Yeah, true.
You got that going for you. Let me check and see if we've motivated anybody to do any donations yet. Well, it's a step in the right direction. Looks like TC from the NC has donated $10. Now, hey, my regulars out there, I know y'all donate all the time, but don't make Ron look bad tonight because I'm going to put the heat on him. But no, this happens. Just so you know, this happens with every celebrity we have on. I don't care who it is. We'll be sitting there and we think, this big celebrity here. We probably got donations just rolling in tonight. No, they sit back and watch the show. And And a lot of times the donations come in late. But fortunately, Arby's is going to make sure that we don't get totally screwed tonight if we can raise $200 in the room. TC from the NC North Carolina. And Ron, in all seriousness, when you said, what was the name of that university? And give me the initials again of where you said you went to school, Ron.
UNC.
I went to UNC. How many fans out there do you think thought you were talking about Northern Colorado?
90% of them. Or no,
No, Ron. It wasn't 90%.
90% of the people that live in Greeley
Right.
thought it being
Yeah. Oh Lord, that was. I'm going. I didn't know Ron went to North Carolina. Well, I didn't.
You know who did?
Neither did
He
he.
was Professor Turkey.
Oh, the Sly man. Yeah. Well, no, you're wrong. Sly went to NC State.
Oh, he went to NC State.
The Bear Man. Did you ever fight Sly? God, I keep forgetting about him. We were such close friends. Another very religious man.
Another Christian brother, for sure.
Another very religious. Do you ever wonder how I got associated with all these Christian brothers? I think they were all. It was a group effort to try to save me. I think between Rico, because these were my friends at that time, and Ron and I always got along great. And Sly Turkey. Sly Turkey was in my house practically every day. Rico was in my house practically every day. Me and Paul Bearer got to be the dearest of friends. We just loved each other. Anthony Scaramucci, very, very Catholic man. And Jason Sanders, pardon?
Mr. Cena.
Mr. Cena Sr., of course. And it baffles me how I have remained such close relationships when they know my belief. But what I do get out of that is that they respect me for being a decent person. It doesn't matter if I worship what they worship or their God or whatever. They respect me for being a decent person. And I really appreciate being pulled into that group of people because it gives me validity when these people, well, God, if they like him, then I guess he's not that bad of a guy. He's not exactly what the book said. Ron might be more what his book says, so we might have more of that. I think that's the first. So, guys, if you're watching the show and you're having a good time and you enjoy having Ron Waterman on the show, let's see if we can build to that $200 so we can take Arby's money. What was that show? Take Ben Stein's money, Bob? Is that what it was?
Oh,
take
yeah.
Ben Stein. Well, we're trying to take Arby's money tonight.
Most boring man in the world.
My boss is writing me during the show. Well, that's going to go unanswered. I hope you're watching because I ain't answering you. Did I finalize some deal? Well, if I ain't working on it, it's finalized. All right. Been working with him since 1984, Ron. Treats me like I've never done the job before. So, trying to check out what donations we have. I saw something come in from TC from the NC. That is probably a Venmo donation. Yes, he made the first donation officially in here tonight. $10 from TC Tyler Cox from North Carolina.
All right.
The real UNC.
The real NC.
But Bear was an NCAA champion from NC State University.
He was.
And did you ever fight Bear?
I didn't fight him in a.
Because he did a lot of fighting in Japan as well.
He did, yeah. I actually, before I even came to OVW, I wrestled against Sylvester in the Olympic trials.
Did you?
That was, yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah. I was totally surprised when I showed up at OVW the very first.
Because Bear's a big boy too. He was
very big boy.
He was also around that 300 mark, wasn't he?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You, Brock, and Lesnar, and the same develop. Oh my God! And then you. Yeah, I'm sorry. You, Brock, and Sylvester, not Lesnar. It rhymed. Give me some slack. And then you throw in Shelton Benjamin, who was not.
You know who else was a good wrestler? Was Brian Keck. Remember Brian?
Oh yes. Brian Keck was in there.
A couple years ago. Did you know that?
I did not. Brian Keck. We called him No Neck Keck. Do you remember that?
Yep.
No Neck Keck. And I have been accused of not having much of a neck either. Keck made me look like I had a turkey neck. That man was. And there's some people you look at that you just know. Me, maybe not Waterman. There's some people you look at like you cannot take them down. He was one of those guys. He was just that cinder block
Big old
with arms and legs that you just, like, I didn't want to fight him. You couldn't even find anything to hurt on him. You couldn't hurt his neck. He was just one of those type of guys. And was he as tough as he looked?
I actually beat him in the Olympic trials that same year that I wrestled Sylvester. Yeah.
Did you beat Sylvester?
I did not beat Sylvester.
That tells me Sylvester was pretty damn good.
Legit.
Damn. Was it close?
It was close. I think a mixed martial arts competition would have gone the other way, but pure wrestling, he was a bad
okay.
boy.
Yeah, because he was developed as pure NC State college wrestling is what he was developed as.
Right. Exactly.
And
points or pen?
and points or pen? Coltrane wants to know.
Points.
Well, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's I would have a hard time calling who would pin the other one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I was
Especially both of you right in that same weight class. Oh, by the way, I got a story for you. Going back to this was at a and you might have been around for this because this was around your time era. We were doing a fundraiser show for the Boys and Girls Club over close to where I used to live, over off Breckenridge Lane in Bardstown Road. It's speaking of hot, they had one big fan in there. It had to have been 100 degrees that day, and I decided to wear a preacher get-up with the button-up collar and everything. I'm showing my religious intents, and I've got the silk shirt on and giving this preacher look.
in the heat.
Sweating like a pig. The show's over. I am soaked to the gills. I think I'd managed a couple of matches that night. And do you remember a wrestler named Seven?
That must have been before me or after me.
Oh, he was around. Seven was known as the instigator. He went by Mordecai in the WWE. Does that help?
Yeah, Kevin Fertig.
Kevin Fertig. Do you remember Kevin?
I think I know who you're talking about now.
Okay. Well, Kevin, thanks to him, is the reason that baby faces and heels had to rotate putting the ring up. Something happened in Memphis where he got everybody in trouble. So the heels would have to set it up, and then the baby faces break it down, and then reverse that on the opposite shows. So the heels are breaking down. I'm sorry, the baby faces are breaking down the ring that night. So the heels, and Turkey's with me, so he's a heel. He doesn't have to break the ring down, but Brock and Shelton and various others do. So the match is over, and Brock's girlfriend at that time, and Brock had been to my home 50 times if he'd been once, to come over and watch Raw, SmackDown, stuff like that. We'd have little cookouts and get-togethers in my house over in Fern Creek. And so me and his wife and Brock were rather close. And Brock's girlfriend at that time walks up to hug me. And I go, "No, honey, I'm soaked in sweat. You don't want to touch me." I said, "I am drenched. Don't touch me." So I put my arms around her and give her an air kiss. You trust me, you don't want to. Brock walks in and sees this. And Brock must have been in a mood. And Brock, so I thought Brock was putting on a show for the 30 or 40 fans that were hanging around after the show. And Brock, and pardon my language, but I'm just going to say what was said the night. "Kenny, get your hands off my fucking girlfriend." And I'm like, no, brother. No problem here. I thought he was working. And then I back away to sell the fact that I'm not supposed to be touching his girlfriend. And then he steps up in my face. He says, "No, seriously, man, keep your hands off my girlfriend." I said, "Brock, I never touched her." I said, "Damn, what's the matter with you?" And he looks over at his girlfriend, and she says, "Brock, he never touched me." Brock's next words were, "Shut up, bitch. I'm not talking to you." I'm going, "Oh shit." And she just gave him a look like, "You're done. You're done." So I said, "Brock, what the hell's the matter with you?" Brock pie faces me at this Boys and Girls Club show in front of everybody. I made the sad mistake of not going down. And I stagger back and I look at him. I said, "What the is wrong with you?" And he says, "I told you." He said, "Keep your hands off my girlfriend. I'll beat your ass." Chris is there as a young teenager, runs to the locker room as hard as he can go, and gets who else? Sly Turkey. He gets Bear. "Brock's up there threatening to beat up Dad. Bear, you got to get up." And everybody called him Bear. Bear comes running up there, and he confronts Brock in seconds. He's in Brock's face. He says, "I don't know what's going on here." He says, "But Bolin's not your size. I am. You got a problem. Your problem's with me. You got a problem?" Brock looks at him and walked away. Now, I don't know if that would have held up 2, 3, 4 years later, but on that night, Sly Turkey backed his ass down, and he walked out, and Jimmy called Brock because he heard about the confrontation. Jimmy calls Brock. I didn't know Jimmy knew anything. I didn't rat him out, never said a word. I get a call from Brock. I get a call from Jimmy. Jimmy says, "What's this shit going on with you and Brock?" I said, "You've heard?" "Yeah, he's goddamn talking in the locker room." "Yeah, what happened?" So I told him what happened. And next thing I know, I get a call from Brock Lesnar. And I take the call because I see it light up on the ID. I said, "Hello, Kenny." "Yeah, this is he. I just wanted to call you and let you know that I was out of line tonight. I shouldn't have done that. I've been informed at your office and I should not have touched you. And I apologize." So, "Okay, Brock, I appreciate that. But please, Kenny, don't ever touch my girlfriend again." So Jimmy calls me. He says, "Brock ever call you?" I said, "Yeah, he did." "What did he say?" He said he apologized. I said, "He apologized." He says, "Okay." I said, "But he did remind me not to ever touch his girlfriend again." He said, "Wasn't it made clear that you never touched his girlfriend?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "He just couldn't let it go, could he?" So he put Brock having to do autographs. He was mad at Big Show too. So him and Big Show had to do autographs all over Louisville for free because they both told me that they wanted $10,000 or they weren't doing the autograph signings. Ron Waterman would have never done that to me. Ron would have showed up, appeared for the sponsors. He wouldn't have demanded $10,000 to go sign autograph. But Big Show and Brock did. So Jimmy put them on the punishment tour to where they had to go up and down Dixie Highway and Bardstown Road and go to every gas station in town to sign free autographs. And I got the heat for that. Because it was all over me. So you can tell.
What Show used to do? He'd go to a house show and he'd bring his Polaroid camera and he'd take a Polaroid and then he'd sign the Polaroid and charge.
And sell the Polaroid?
Yeah, and sell a Polaroid.
He was making $900,000 a year when he was here.
Selling those things.
Oh my God. He's making $900,000 a year in 1999 or 2000 or whatever they had him here. And he's selling Polaroids. Yeah. Oh boy. I hope you noticed me. Well, honey, I hope people notice to make donations tonight too. Now, that's a name I don't remember seeing, Bob. Do you?
No, that's a new one.
I don't remember that name. That is a Filipino thing. I hope you notice me. Well, we noticed you, but we have to notice some donations.
I got like 7 friend requests yesterday.
You got 7 yesterday?
Filipino. Yes, yesterday.
Well, we're very popular in the Filipino community.
Well, I quickly let them know those requests go through Bob.
Well, without donations, there's only so much we can do. So let me see if anyone else has been kind enough to do anything as of yet.
All right. So while you're looking that up, Ron, according to the Bastion of Truth and all knowledge that is Wikipedia, your background was in pancrase mixed martial arts.
I was going to ask about that too.
You're going to have to help me out because I have no idea what that is.
I was going to ask what that
was like a real
pro
wrestling.
Pancrase was just another organization in Japan, so it was just like Pride. It was on but a smaller platform, so it's not a style of fighting. It was just an organization.
Promotion.
Yeah.
I remember the old commercials for those. It looked like wrestling, but like they were just really beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah, it was just mixed martial arts. They had different rules. Like you couldn't strike with a closed fist. You had to open hand strike. So,
well, that to me should have been the rule. Yeah. Well, how do you feel about that? I thought that should have been the rule. That closed fist. I mean, this just might be. Yeah, and they may. I don't think they don't let you do it. Well, then again, pro wrestling is something else. But yeah, these guys can kill each other, and for the most part, a lot of them aren't wearing. A lot of these fights are not wearing headgear.
No,
so
not the Big Show. You can't.
Yeah. So to me, with guys with the ability of you and a Turkey and a Brock Lesnar. Now, did Brock ever do that type of fighting? I don't recall that he did.
Brock? Oh yeah, Brock was.
He went 0-2, didn't he? Didn't he go 0-2?
Brock was
no.
champion.
No, he won one because everybody thought it was a work.
He won several UFC fights. He was the UFC champion for quite a while.
Was it Couture that everybody thought was a work?
Because of the on a banana peel at the end. But,
the Phantom Punch, it was called.
Yeah.
With Randy Couture. Did you ever fight Randy Couture?
No, I beat a couple of guys that beat him, but I never did fight Randy. I trained with him in Vegas for a while, getting ready for a fight.
Okay.
Now you and Frank Mir, didn't he?
Yeah.
I remember that name.
Because he came out the first match and the second match.
Right.
Well, Ron, you and I have something similar that we can do then. But because I once beat John Cena in a wrestling match in September of 2002, I beat the current he was the current champion, a man who's won the WWE title 17 times. I have beaten Mark Henry. I have beaten The Big Show. I've beaten poor Matt Capitelli, God rest his soul. A lot of times when you were getting ready to get called up, I beat Rico. The thing is that when you were getting called up, normally you had to lose to me in a loser leave town match. Ron escaped this indignity.
Yes, I did.
You normally had to lose to me to get called up to the WWE. And so anytime that someone says, well, who have you beat? I said, well, everybody, because I've beaten everybody that John Cena beat. You can lay the same claim. You beat guys that beat him, which means you could have beat him had you fought him. That's the story I tell. Well, everybody says, well, Kenny, was that that match of work? Oh, no, me and John was a shoot fight. He didn't even know the fight was going to happen.
Every fight Kenny was in was a shoot.
Yeah, all mine were shoot fights. I determined that at the end of the 3 count. That was a shoot fight, everybody. I changed it to a shoot, right?
Yeah, so Ron, who for those of us who are not big, I'm not a big fan of the MMA world. Who was the probably the most famous person that you fought?
Mirko Krokop is a big name. He was a Pride champion for a long time, fought in the UFC, and then Kevin Randleman, who also passed away a few years ago, but he was a UFC champion, and that was probably one of my biggest fights over in Japan was with him, and I submitted him in the first round.
Nice. Very nice.
Why do you think people from Pride, when they went over to UFC, they didn't quite make that transition?
It's so strange because hardly any of them did make a good transition. The only really difference is that you're fighting in a ring instead of a cage for Pride. The first round in Pride is 10 minutes where you go over to the UFC and they're 5-5-5 unless it's a title fight.
Which it seems harder in Pride.
I thought so too.
Yeah, a ring you can fall out of. And
often did. Yeah.
Art Gel is one of our sweet little girls that's been watching the show since she was probably 6 or 7 years old. We threw her first birthday party some 4 or 5 years ago. She's having some real serious dental issues. So is Eunice. We got Eunice sent to the dentist yesterday to do some work on her. Believe it or not, her dental thing ran about $30. We can't do that here in America for that price, especially if you don't have insurance. Her jaw is very swollen. She's been having a lot of tooth pain for about a week or 2 now. She's another one of the kids we were trying to help on the show tonight. So far, we just have the one donation from TC from the NC. I was checking my messages. Arby says that I feel bad that for people are not donating tonight for whatever reason. He said, so regardless of what happens, we are going to honor our $200 pledge. So at least we made something tonight. And but he's encouraging other sponsors to match what he's done, and anybody else out there that's got an extra $100 or $200 that can help us get to where we need to be, to please do what you can to help these people in need. And that was straight from the general manager of Arby's as I was reading through my messages there. So that was nice of Arby's to do that, because the original stipulation was if the room makes 200, we'll donate 200. And but that happens a lot on these celebrity shows, and I don't get it. And I would think people would be lining up, make a donation to ask a question. And
maybe they're nervous.
Well, that happens a lot. People are intimidated to talk to a big star like me, and of course Ron's here too. Ron going, I can get buried on anybody's show. I don't need to do that over here. So, and has Rico reached out to you yet to get on? Because Amir is his co-host, and they were the ones that originally reached out to me. I hope they don't think I stole you from them. I gave them every opportunity to get that going over there, and I thought, hell, I want him on my show too. And then Ron was kind of, no, I'll do both shows. I'll do Rico's show and I'll do yours. So I'm glad I got the scoop. I'm going to try and ruin Rico's show to where we're just going to cover everything
sometime.
I haven't heard from him yet, Kenny.
Okay, Yeah, he is. Doesn't he live in Arizona now too, Rico?
Yeah, he's about an hour 10 north of me right now.
Is he that close, really?
Yeah.
Because he was in Vegas for years and years, Rico was. And but he now, I gave Rico some shit. He might be mad at me because Rico told me that he lives on a ranch. I said, what you got on your ranch? He said, well, I got 3 horses, and I got 3 big dogs, and I got 7 chickens. It's okay. I said, Rico. So one of the fans writes in and says, Kenny, you do realize a ranch is anything 100 acres or more. Does Rico live on a 100-acre ranch? I said, I don't know. So I wrote Rico and asked, Rico, how big's your ranch? Rico says 2.5 acres. I said, Rico, that's a backyard. Rico, I lived in Prospect, Kentucky. It was not a ranch. That was my backyard, about 2.5 acres. You know what I had, Rico? I had 3 pet horses. I had no chickens, but I did have 3 big dogs, and I had 3 horses.
You let that
and you know what that was, Rico? That was my backyard. It wasn't a ranch. He said, well, I call it a ranch. I said, but you were deceptive. Now we got people out there thinking you live on a 100-acre ranch and you just work your ass off on the farm all day.
Rico on the Ponderosa.
There you go.
With Hoss and
With
Little
Hoss
Joe.
and Little Joe.
Were you a fan of the
Top
show
scene.
Bonanza, Ron?
Of course.
Oh my God. One of my favorite things about Bonanza is they were the first really territorial show.
Oh, yeah.
What I mean by territory, Hoss and Little Joe and Adam and Ben would get on their horses and they would ride for 4 days. And then he would find some
They get
Mexicans
to the front gate.
They would find some.
The Ponderosa.
So for 4 days they're riding. They find some Mexicans resting under a tree. And then Little Joe gets off his horse. Y'all do realize you're on Ponderosa property, don't you? Wait a minute. You've been riding for 4 days and you're going to bitch at these guys for getting some shade?
Theirs was
What
600,000 acres.
Yeah, well, the opening episode of Bonanza tells you what the square footage was because Ben Cartwright, whatever his real name was, somebody knows it. Lauren Green also
He actually has a
started
Ponderosa house
space
here in
movies.
Mesa.
Does he
Commander
really?
Adama.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was he in that space show? What was his name?
He was Commander
Oh,
Adama.
yeah.
I knew you would know that. I knew
Yeah.
you, and I watched a few of them. I just couldn't have told you his name if all the money in the world was at stake. But that episode just stuck with me. An arrogant ass Adam who had the education from back east, and then little Joe who never met a girl he couldn't get. That was Ron Waterman, and then Hoss Cartwright. Well, he better have a sense of humor, you big fat boy. That's where I come in. I was the Hoss Cartwright, and so they're right, and they're talking. It's a 4-day ride, and then there's 3 or 4 Mexicans under a tree. And then Joe's trying to force him off the Ponderosa. Come on. How much land do you need? And how did you acquire all that land?
It's like the entire state of Washington.
I don't think Ron would ride for 4 days on his property and kick people off
the
for
Mexicans
getting
under the tree.
kick people off for getting some shade. So never heard that story before.
Hey, baby doll.
Never. Oh, did Becky chime in late?
Becky
right
showed
there.
up. Yeah, but there you go. Hey,
Becky must not have got a notice on the show or something.
She didn't see Coltrane's
been
picture on
feeling
the thing. So
I guess that could be.
Ron, are you still working for the fire department? Are you still
I am,
paramedic thing? Yeah. So that's again. This is. You
And
honestly,
hey, and Rico was an EMT, so you guys have some similar parallels.
right?
A lot of things in common, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I go on shift tomorrow morning,
Oh my Lord.
48 hours.
And how much sleep do you get during that 48 hours?
All depends. You never know what you're going to get with this job.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yep,
And
all night.
how long have you been on the fire department now?
12 years.
That's lengthy.
Yeah.
All
it's a
right.
great job, though.
You got to have some kind of horror stories from that, right?
Oh, lots of stuff.
Anything that you can share publicly?
Ron's camera's getting tired.
I'm actually trying to give Ron a chance to talk, being the guest on the show.
A couple of years
Take
ago,
that- take
2
that as
o'clock
a
in the
direct
morning, I delivered twins. That was kind of a fun experience as a paramedic.
That's
Usually get all the terrible traffic accidents and deaths and stuff like that. But getting to deliver some babies was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. You brought people in the world.
Jambi saying hello. Art Gel hoping somebody has a heart and will help her see the dentist. Honey, I don't know where the heart people are tonight, sweetie. We're hoping.
This could be the off week for people's payday too.
Yeah, my boss wanted to know if I finalized that deal, so yeah, I gave him a thumbs up. So hopefully he can decipher that.
Becky wants to know what notice you're talking about, Kenny.
What notice you talk? Notice that we were doing a show an hour ago, Becky, an hour and 10 minutes ago.
Kind of like we do a show every Thursday night.
Yeah, every Tuesday,
time.
every Thursday, a lot of
It
Saturdays.
always amazes me. People like, wow, I didn't know you were on.
I didn't know you were doing a show. No, we've only been doing it every Tuesday and every Thursday for about 14 years now. And we don't do Mondays because we don't want to go head to head with Raw. As a rule, we don't do Fridays because we don't want to go head to head with SmackDown because a lot of our fan base is of wrestling orientation and of wrestling of ilk. There you go. I like the word ilk. Dad, can you help me with my contest in different schools?
No.
Honey,
What kind of contest you got going down?
does it look like we can help anybody with yeah, she's
Archel's face looks like this.
yeah.
No.
Well, you know what? Screw that dentist appointment. She wants to dance in a contest. So, honey, in all honesty, it is not looking good to help with any contests in any schools or any school uniforms. We do have people out there needing T-shirts and stuff like that. So, we'll see where we add up at the end of the show, sweetie. And I'm sure Ron can't stay here all night, so we probably got to get ready to wrap him up here in a little bit. Ron, how much time you got with us? And we'll give you a chance to slide out of here.
Oh, I got about 10 minutes, Kenny.
Well, I need 11. What do you think about that? Always trying to get that. Always trying. So yeah, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up at 10:25 p.m. Anybody's got any questions for Ron?
Now.
Yeah. So yeah, anybody's got any questions, make sure to get them in. Becky, Becky, I knew when you saw his hairstyle that you would be all over him. So we did. As a matter of fact, I was telling stories about you being the Farrah Fawcett of the Louisville Gardens early at the show. If you'd been watching, I also talked shit about you too, but you missed out on that.
Yeah, you just
So
at the very beginning.
So we teased the story earlier, but Kenny has, in preparation for this event tonight, Ron, Kenny has shared a lot of stories, actually the same story, several times, about how the first time that you and he got into a wrestling
physical confrontation, when Ron bowed up on me at an OVW event.
Is that a thumb wrestling contest?
There was a little bit of confusion about what a working punch sounded like. So, what is your perspective on?
We know Daniel Pewter can't throw a working punch, and Ron and I covered that in the pre-show. Ron, give your version of what happened on that infamous night with Rob Conway, former NWA champion, I might add, who I have also beaten in a shoot fight.
And the worst theme music ever in the history of
He
wrestling.
found out after the match it was a shoot fight. So. Actually, the night that Rob Conway got beat, Cornette was mad at him over something, and he had the ref fast count him in a match where he got 5 minutes with me. And when I went for the cover, he had, remember referee Briscoe, Robert Briscoe?
Oh, yeah.
He had Briscoe fast count him at a show in, Carrollton, Kentucky. And I didn't know I was going to win because Rob was supposed to get 5 minutes with me and beat me in Carrollton to make the fans happy. Well, Rob did something that night that pissed Cornette off. So Rob had Briscoe fast count Conway, had Briscoe raise my hand and get me out of the ring. Conway comes back furious. He just can't believe that this happened. And then Cornette confronts him and says, "Hey, you stupid mofo," and whatever names he called Rob that night. Ever pull that crap again, and Bolin beating you in the middle of the ring is going to be the least of your damn worries. So that was my victory over the NWA World Champion. And it was a shoot fight because he didn't know he was going to get beat. So there you go. So your memories of that infamous night and the story I've told, what's the hardest you've ever been hit in a pro wrestling match? And without hesitation, no matter how many years it's been, Ron Waterman. No one else even gets mentioned. Ron Waterman, tell your version of what happened on that infamous night.
I tried to tell him, Becky.
I'm just trying to remember back. I know
I gotta check
that
this
you
weather. I'll
were
be right
you were
back.
interfering with the match, of course. And
I was.
and
That's accurate.
they
So what
told me
What Ron's trying to tell you ahead of time is I deserved what I got. I think is what he's trying to tell you.
right, yeah, and wanted me to lay one in, and of course they wanted me to make it look as real as possible. So
They did.
I didn't think I hit him that hard, but
Yeah.
evidently.
So, well, you didn't. So, yeah, I'm holding. I think Conway's a babyface then, and I'm holding Conway,
right.
and you're coming over to throw a punch, and then the wrestler I'm holding, and I remember it being Conway, and then when the wrestler ducks, you're to hit me by accident. So the wrestler ducked, and like I said, I remember it being Conway, but if it's not, then
I'm pretty sure it was Rob. Yep.
I think it was Rob. So he ducks, and Ron lays me into about the third row. I'm just kidding. No, didn't need to sell because I go flying into the third row of the seats. I get to the back, and Danny Davis has a little mini fridge back there, and he's got some cold soft drinks in it. I'm going through there, and I'm just grabbing like 2 cans and putting them on my face. And, what's the matter? I said, Waterman just knocked the shit out of me. He said, really? I said, I don't think he. I said, I just lost an AirPod. I said, I don't think he meant to do it. I said, I'm sure if he hit me with everything he had, I wouldn't have a jaw right now. So Ron
gets done a great job of selling it, Kenny.
Well, yeah, that's what I did. So when Ron gets to the back, he sees me back there with the cans on my face and everything. He said, you all right? I said, no, I'm not all right. I said, you knocked the crap out of me. He said, well, Kenny, I only hit you with about a third of what I got. I said, well, thank you for keeping the other 2/3. At least I now have a jaw. So that was my vivid memory. I forget a lot of things. I will never ever forget Ron Waterman, Ron H2O Waterman. We got about 4 minutes.
All in love.
We got about 4 minutes left. Rebecca says, "Sweet dream." You heading out? You just got here.
Well,
My God, we haven't even.
She's been sick. Kenny, give the woman a break.
I don't care. Oh, I'm supposed to care about the sick. I'm sorry.
So, Ron, do you have anything you want to promote or how people?
Yeah, let's get your promotions in here.
Well, I still do a lot of motivational speaking and travel all over the place doing that. So if you want to contact me for motivational speaking, I do schools, I do churches, I do private events, and you can set all that up on my website and contact me at ronwaterman.com and shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you right away and see if we can get something set up.
Do you have anything scheduled currently coming up you want to push, or?
I don't really have
working tomorrow.
Yeah, working at the firehouse. Yeah.
What's the name of the fire department you work for?
Mountain View Fire Protection District.
You familiar with that area, Bob?
Oh yeah, that's Longmont and
all around Longmont. Yeah.
Oh my Lord, I cannot believe that you guys had lived that close together. Yeah, you mentioned that you had some like television and some movie projects. Anything upcoming or anything that you've done recently you'd like for people to check out?
I've signed for a couple of movies, but they're in the funding stages now, so you can't.
Yeah.
Until that happens.
Have you ever worked with Jason Stace? Help me out on the name. Yeah. You ever worked with him?
I haven't. I think I'd be
because there's a similar look there,
right? I know,
and
right?
I could see that being a good movie if you were like the anti-Statham or something.
Beekeeper 3, yeah.
I like the Beekeeper myself. I thought it was an excellent. I thought Beekeeper was an excellent movie. As a matter of fact, if he's in the movie, I normally enjoy it. But I could see you being the anti-state, the answer to him until the very end, of course, and then of course he's got to go over. So, right. We know how that goes. How do we get your autographed copy of your book?
You can go to my website, and I will send you one directly and mail it right out to you.
Yeah, well, but what's the charge for the average folk?
For a book?
Yeah,
$10.
Oh,
you can't beat that.
You just buried mine. Do you know what I sell mine for?
What?
Kenny
It's embar-
asks $100 for the book. What do you
my
think about that?
mine are shipped to your door signed, and I act like I'm doing everybody a big favor. Shipped to your door for $30. You're doing them for 10. That's way too Christian of you. You gotta, you're killing people like now the mooch. You know what mooch did,
brother? It's about the message.
You know, I know. I got no message. Do you know what Mooch told me to sell his for? And it is signed. Let me open it up here. Yeah, there it is. There's the Mooch. There's the Mooch's signature there. Do you know what Mooch told me to sell his for? Because he buried me. He said, "Well, Kenny," he says, He sent me like a case of them, and we've sold most of them. I got a few left here for his appearance next week. $59.95 for the sign. Yeah, but he's giving financial advice. He's going to help you get your money back.
There you go.
There you go. Well, Ron has buried us all on autographed copies of books. I am so sorry. I asked him what he charged. I was hoping $50, $100 to make me look like I'm offering a good deal. People are going, Bolin has been ripping us off for years. But you probably sell a lot more though. You're going for volumes, what you're going for.
Volume, you bet.
He just exposed how much profit we're making on our books.
How much a book costs, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're gonna keep that quiet. Well,
We'll
I made
all that out in post.
I did make Ron go 1 minute over, so I'm very proud of that. Shout out to our sponsors, Arby's, who helped us actually make some money tonight. Shout out to Five Guys, Blaze Pizza, who's been a great sponsor, Carrabba's, Jimmy John. It says JJ though. Jimmy John's, who's been a tremendous sponsor that just came aboard with us. They're sending us some new shirts for the Scaramucci show. They cater a lot of our shows, not tonight, but maybe the next one. And Bob and Coltrane. Well, Coltrane left. Bob and I'll hang around and do a wrap up of the show here. Ron, thank you so much for coming on. I will urge Rico to get you on their show real soon. He will treat you way better than I did.
Actually, probably even let you talk a little bit. So give my love to everybody out your way. And thank you so much for coming on, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Anytime.
RonWaterman.com. It's nice to meet you, Ron. RonWaterman.com. Reach out to him. Get that book. Get those.
The $10 book, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Get that inspirational speech. If you're in that area, if he's in your area, schedule him up. He is worth the listen to.
You ain't getting my book for $10. Ron didn't motivate me to drop my prices. I don't sell enough of them.
There's not enough motivation in the world for that, Kenny.
Well, maybe if I book him for a motivational speech, I'll drop my prices.
Kenny's hoping for like a global freeze glacier thing, so people will buy his book as firewood.
that might work too. All right, Ron. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, guys.
To see you.
Love you, buddy. Thank you so much. Have a good one. I wasn't expecting that price.
I wouldn't either, to be honest.
Whoa, what?
$10 delivered and autographed, folks.
Holy mackerel! Yeah, that's he's way too Christian for me. Jeez, oh Pete. You think Kenny might be charging too much for his book? Well, maybe. It's a lot of time and effort.
He's selling his at a loss. Plus,
he's losing money.
He's getting to the post office like the very same next day. Unlike it takes you forever to get to the post office. That time's got to be accounted for.
Bob, I was on other messages, and I said, well, maybe that's why I haven't seen any donations, because I'm on other messages, and obviously no donation. So I clicked the focus messages. Just TC, one donation all night long. I am blown the fuck away. I really am. Now that I can cuss again.
Didn't
more than
stop you before.
Well, I didn't say fuck. I don't think.
I don't remember. Well, you did. I don't know, but you were quoting, so that didn't count.
Okay. We did have a late notice from Jeff Sanford. Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, Kenzie's been booking people for Hampton Inn. I'm definitely not paying. Yes, they told me they sent Kenzie the contract today. So she should have it. Plus, I forwarded it to her myself. Sorry, I was doing a show with a big celebrity and could not leave the show. All right. I am blown away. But I did just get notice from Jeff Sanford. He was not able to get onto the show in time. And he says, I will also contribute $75 to TC's 10. So we got 85 of that 200 we were trying to get. And then Arby's said that they would honor what they said they would do. We have not heard a confirmation or denial from the other sponsors yet, because we did give them real late notice on it. But they have the corporate. No. Yeah, they do have the corporate donation button at the 501c3 not-for-profit link to PayPal. Shout out to PayPal and Venmo. But yeah, I am blown away that only one person donated all night long, which was TC from the NC, and then Jeff Sanford says he will make. I think Jeff's going to make a donation by the end of the week. He said,
"Nice."
And
so we have Scaramucci coming up next week, next Thursday at a special time.
Scared to have him on.
Yeah.
Scared to have him on.
We might lose money on the deal.
4
o'clock Eastern, folks. So that's an early show. But where else are you going to get Anthony Scaramucci live and interactive?
Normal. Well, you can get him live on MSNBC, CNN all the time.
Not interactive, but
not so much on Fox, but not interactive. Not where you can ask him questions. I did confirm with him today. Sent him the meme of the show that Train. What happened to Train?
I don't know. He just kind of got up and walked away. He's still humorous with us.
Let me give you a Star Wars. How wooed.
Yeah. So I was going to ask him, and you tell me if this is an appropriate question or not. Of all the CNN and MSNBC people that he's sat down and interviewed with, is there anybody hotter than Aaron Burnett?
Is that inappropriate? Yeah.
Is that inappropriate? Yes. Okay.
I won't even ask that.
So I should ask that last.
Scratch that. I won't even. I don't even think I'll ask that one. There's a couple of who are my favorite. We can be inappropriate now. Who would be my favorite news girls? Obviously, the Asian ones, all the ways. There's one little Mouthy one that shows up on CNN on the not Aaron Burnett, but on the Abby Phillip show. I think Abby Phillip is a gorgeous woman. She's married, which I assume a lot of them are. But Abby Phillip is a gorgeous woman. But I did tell Scaramucci, Jesus Christ, Ken, I saw your friend Fat Eric hanging out with Ian Rotten and his alcoholic drug addict friends while wearing a Kenny Bolin hoodie. Well, he does have a Kenny Bolin hoodie. Yeah, he's got one. But he does donate to the show and has a membership to this show, and you don't. And you need that hoodie to cover up that pathetic looking body of yours. So why don't you do that?
Zane Asher's pretty hot.
Who?
Zane Asher.
There's one that has a real cute little haircut I like. I think she is of Indian descent. If I had to guess, I could be wrong. So I hate to say, I'll have to see her. She's on Abby Phillip from time to time. She's on a lot of the CNN. She's definitely CNN. She's not MSNBC. And I noticed you waited to chime in after the goddamn show was over. No fucking membership and no fucking donations once again out of you. So what else is new? So this was a tough night in the neighborhood. I really thought we were going to do a lot better. Thank God for Arby's as of right now. And but that what a lot of these families are needing. I mean, I was hoping for a $600 to $800 night for what a lot of these people are needing. And I got 7 message requests tonight too. I got more than that because there's a bunch here I haven't even looked at. Yeah, I got 7 new message requests too. Well, the bad thing is, guys, guys, what I've noticed is when they don't donate, it doesn't do too much good. Who's she calling jailbait herself? Not anymore.
I don't know. I think she's behind.
Dad, I hope someone can help me because we never imagined the disaster. I think she got hit by a van yesterday while riding her motorcycle. I might have sent you the pictures of her in the hospital, or I did or did not.
You did not. But
Oh God, yeah, she got hit. Her legs messed up real bad. Got a band. I thought I sent it to you, but maybe I didn't. But yeah, she got hit on a motorcycle. I had to go to the hospital. She needs medication, and this is I might be forced to do some type of a show Saturday, and hope we can get a little bit more coming in, because even the Arby's money is only going to go so far tonight with the things that people are needing. And it's 10:35 on a Thursday night. I think Bob and I have done all the damage we can do here for tonight. So possibly we'll do something Saturday. I don't know. As a matter of fact, I might not be doing a show Saturday, because I think Arby's has invited us over for a late night dinner over there at their East End store. He's closing at night. He's the one that donated the 200 tonight. So the least we can do is show up over there and have a nice dinner with a guy. So there probably won't be a show Saturday night as it stands right now. Unless we go over there during the day. He's doing a split shift. He's doing an early shift and then a late shift. So we'll have to determine. Now, if we go to the day shift, then I might do something Saturday night. We go night shift, then it's most likely I won't. So we got that. So until possibly Saturday, more than likely Tuesday. Oh, and Tuesday night, who do I have on Tuesday? It ain't Ron Waterman. It is. Oh, I've got a police officer friend of mine that grew up with me in LaGrange, used to play Frisbee with me in the street. He ran the K9 unit. And we are going to have him on. Dennis is his first name. Dennis was the leader of the K9 squad, Dennis Clark. Memory trying to kick in. Dennis Clark has known me since I was at least 14 years old, maybe longer. And I thought it would be cool to have a police officer who was pretty much around right about the time that my parents got divorced, and knows me through my entire childhood, through my adult life, and a police officer that I really respected the world out of. And he knows many other police officers out there that I got along with well. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to have his perspective of watching me grow up through my childhood at age 14 to getting involved in wrestling by the age of 27. And going off into sales and marketing at the age of 24, going to work at Kroger at the age of 19. And he saw all that. So I just thought it would be cool to have his perspective, talk about what he does now, talk about him running the K9 squad out in Oldham County for many, many years. And good man. I really think the world of Dennis Clark. And he will be my guest Tuesday night at 9:00. He will be the lead-in show for the Anthony Scaramucci John Cena Sr. show. And John Cena Sr. did confirm that he is going to drop in and join us for a little bit. Mark Cuban is invited, but we never know with his schedule whether or not he's going to be able to make it or not. But no, Bob, something happened tonight. We were going against something that I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because everybody kept writing me, telling me how excited they were that Ron Waterman was coming on. And the viewership was not all that impressive. And the donations were absolutely horrible, short of what Arby's did. So, and, I'm, and I am letting the sponsors know that anybody that does honor that $200 donation that Arby's did, if they do that, look through our autograph pictures that we have. And if we can kick one or two of those your way to put up as a prize for your staff, we're happy to do that. We also have the autographed little action figure here, Bill Dundee. I've got one, maybe two of these left. I'll have to check my ottoman and see if I've got another one. You see Bill's autograph there. Plus, I'll also have some autographed pictures of him. He's supposed to be coming by here to see me in October, health permitting. Bill and I are both kind of in that category. We got to see how we look on that particular month. Let's see. Well, I can't believe you watched the whole show, never asked one question, didn't donate or get a badge. So we're both in shock. And I can't believe you post pictures of you not wearing a shirt. So we both have our surprises. All right, guys. Thank you, Bob, for helping out. And like I said,
Thanks
most likely
to the absent Coltrane.
Yeah, he just left. I mean, hopefully somebody tells him he's not there. And maybe he'll get, there he is.
Shout out. That's the best John Cena imitation I have ever seen.
Can't see him. Shout out to the ghost of Coltrane. And but other than that, I will be back here Tuesday night with Officer Dennis Clark. Well, he's retired now, but and I think there will be some interesting story because I have no idea what stories he's going to tell. he might rat me out for shit that I forgot even happened. So, but he knew me at 117 East Main and 117 West Main, the only person in the entire world to live at the exact same address at two different ends of the street. I lay claim to that because I haven't heard anyone else that did it. Bob, did you ever live at the same address, two different streets?
No, I have never lived at the same address.
You ever known anybody that lived at the same address in two different streets?
Yeah.
You did,
you.
not me.
You.
Not
Okay.
including me.
So I already know what the meme for Tuesday is going to look like. It's going to be you standing in a lineup.
I don't care. I don't care. And then Officer Clark pointing at me like, yeah, that's
if I had a picture of that, that would be great. Just
that's the one that I saw. Oh, he did send me some pictures of him to use. I don't think I have anything of him pointing, but if I can get one, I will.
All right.
So
that'll work.
Until Tuesday night, I'm the Starmaker. That's Bobby Bangs, Hollywood, Hazelwood, whatever you want to. No, we're not going to call you Hollywood. We're not going to call you Hollywood, Hazelwood. That's a
Hollywood.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Sorry.